A 7.0 magnitude earthquake hit Anchorage, Alaska on Friday. The tremor caused buildings to shake and roads to collapse.
Everyone, we want to get right to that news. That state of emergency in California with wildfires burning across the state. The death toll is now rising.
Carolinas are being swamped by these heavy rains and high winds from Hurricane Florence. Major damage.
There are many opportunities to help an affected area after a disaster strikes. If you're unable to volunteer because of work, time, or conflict, there are many ways to provide aid and assistance. Anyone is able to provide aid and assistance to a community affected by natural disaster. But be careful, because there are some issues related to assistance that can create additional problems. Let's go into detail how to volunteer, provide aid and assistance to affected areas, and some issues when providing assistance that can create additional problems.
First, let's talk about the many opportunities to volunteer and help areas affected by a natural disaster. One opportunity is to organize and help with a community event to raise money and gather donations. Nonprofit organizations and community centers run events to raise money and donate goods for disaster-struck areas. Volunteering is the best way for people to aid a disaster-struck region but cannot afford to donate. Anyone is able to volunteer, and it is a simple way to help recover after a natural disaster.
Next, let's talk about many ways to provide aid and assistance to people in areas affected by natural disasters. One way is to donate goods and money to the affected area. Donating food, water, clothing, and money is vital in helping people recover. This goes to feeding, clothing, and rebuilding the affected community. Also, donating blood is a simple way to save a life for people who need medical surgery. Providing aid and assistance brings a quick and safe recovery to an area affected by a natural disaster.
Now, let's talk about issues related to assistance that can create additional problems in the affected area. One issue can be exacerbating existing problems. If conflict is a current issue, then the citizens could fight for the aid. To avoid this, organizations carefully distribute aid to all affected citizens regardless of status. Another issue could be fraud and corruption. World governments work to stop corruption before it starts. When aiding a disaster, be sure to avoid these issues or report corruption to ensure that the affected area has a safe recovery.
Today you have learned many of the volunteer opportunities, ways to provide aid and assistance, and the issues related to assistance that can create additional problems. Be sure to use any of these methods that you have learned to help aid and assist people in communities around the world that have recently suffered from a natural disaster.